I asked my pregnant colleague if she is having a boy or a girl. She looked at me like I just insulted her entire family. So, this happened today at work. We have these weekly team meetings every Thursday morning where everyone sits around drinking coffee and pretending to care about spreadsheets. Today was different though. Right at the start, Rebecca from accounting stood up and announced she's pregnant. Due date in April. Everyone clapped and said, "Congratulations." I did too, because that's what you're supposed to do. The meeting wrapped up 15 minutes later, and 5 of us got in the elevator together. Me, Rebecca, and 3 other people from our team. Total awkward silence except for the weird elevator music. I hate uncomfortable silence, so I figured I'd make conversation. I turned to Rebecca and asked if she was having a boy or a girl. Simple question, right? Her whole face changed. She looked down at the elevator floor and said, "Boy." In this really flat, dead voice, like I just asked her the most annoying question in the world. I stood there confused as hell, while everyone else suddenly found their phones very interesting. The elevator doors opened, and we all walked out without another word. I got back to my desk and opened my laptop, trying to figure out what just happened. Did I say something wrong? It seemed like a normal question. People ask that stuff all the time. I saw it in movies. I heard my aunt ask my cousin the same thing last year at Thanksgiving. 10 minutes later, Rebecca walked straight up to my desk. Her arms were crossed, and she had this tight smile that wasn't really a smile. She said my question was inappropriate, that she was planning to announce the gender herself at some special moment. But I forced her to say it in a cramped elevator. Now half the team knows before she wanted them to, and I killed the magic apparently. I apologized immediately, said I was sorry like 5 times. Told her I genuinely didn't know that was a problem. She just kept going though. Told me I shouldn't ask personal questions like that. That pregnancy is a sensitive topic and I need to be more aware. Then she walked away before I could say anything else. I sat there staring at my computer screen, feeling like complete garbage. My co-worker Ben leaned over from the next desk and whispered that I should have just kept my mouth shut. Easy for him to say. He's married with 2 kids. He knows this stuff. The rest of the day was brutal. Rebecca didn't look at me once during lunch. 2 other people from the elevator gave me these weird, sympathetic looks, like I'd done something terrible. I tried to focus on work, but kept replaying the whole thing in my head. Was it really that bad? I was just trying to be nice and show interest. Around 3:00 in the afternoon, my manager called me into her office. My stomach dropped. She closed the door and asked if I wanted to explain what happened with Rebecca. Apparently, Rebecca had gone to HR, actually filed a complaint about me asking if she was having a boy or a girl. I explained everything exactly as it happened. My manager listened and then sighed really loud. She said that while my intentions weren't malicious, I should be more careful about what I ask people. Pregnancy is personal. Gender reveals are a big deal now. People have whole parties for that stuff. I told her I'm 24 and single and have zero idea about any of this. She said that's not really an excuse and I should use better judgment going forward. No formal write-up or anything, but she made it clear I need to apologize again to Rebecca properly. So, I sent an email after the meeting. Long one too. Said I was genuinely sorry for overstepping and didn't mean to ruin anything. That I hoped she'd still have a great announcement with the rest of the team whenever she was ready. I even congratulated her again on the baby. She responded 2 hours later with a single sentence. "Thank you for understanding, that's it." No acceptance of the apology. No, it's okay, or don't worry about it. Just cold and formal. Story 2. I've stopped doing the fun extra office stuff after I didn't like the way my boss handled something. AITA. Alright, so I've been the fun person at work for a decade. You know the one who remembers everyone's birthday and makes cupcakes with little personalized toppers. The one who stays late to decorate the office with Dollar Tree streamers and a Target clearance piñata for a Cinco de Mayo thing no one asked for. The one who organizes Secret Santa, handwrites holiday cards, coordinates potlucks, even knows Susan from accounting's gluten allergy, and brings a separate Costco tray just for her. That was me. But all that stopped 2 months ago because of a single meeting. A dumb, passive-aggressive, soul-draining little meeting that killed any ounce of above and beyond I had left. So rewind to early February. Our company rolled out this change in policy, where we had to log our in-off hours down to the minute. It's one of those Fortune 500 places where management reads one Harvard Business Review article and thinks micromanaging is suddenly streamlining operational flow. Whatever. It was annoying. But fine, I grumbled for a day, rolled my eyes like the rest of us, and moved on. But of course the group chat was lit for a full week. Everyone bitched. Everyone vented. Now, I'm not a saint, but I've always played both sides. When coworkers get fired up, I usually try to walk them back a bit. Say stuff like, yeah, it sucks, but it's not the worst. Or, we'll probably all forget about it by next month. That kind of thing. So, I'm on the phone with Megan from HR, who, mind you, is the most dramatic person in our building, and once cried because her lean cuisine got stolen from the shared fridge, and she's going off full on rant. I just kind of chuckled, added some, yeah, I get it, and honestly, it could be worse type stuff, and we wrapped it up. That should have been the end of it, but nah. Apparently, my boss, let's call him Dan, because he seems like the type of guy who definitely corrects you if you call him Danny, had overheard part of the convo. His office is across from mine, and I guess I had my door cracked open because my space gets zero airflow and feels like a damn sauna by noon. Anyway, he only heard my side of the conversation, which ironically was probably the most mild-mannered part. 3 days later, I get called into a quick check-in meeting. I was expecting a pat on the back for helping with the Valentine's Day fundraiser. Or maybe even a Starbucks gift card like he handed out last time when I covered for Jill during her emergency nose job. Instead, this man pulls out a printed evaluation sheet. I'm thinking it's just a formality. Nope. The sheet was lit up with meets expectations. Not a single exceeds. Not even in team morale. Which, if I'm being honest, I basically single-handedly maintained with my emotional support. Brownies and Spotify curated. Office Bops playlist, eh? Dan starts talking about how my attitude has shifted and how employees look to me as a barometer of the department. Said it was disappointing that I didn't redirect my coworker to him. As if Megan would have taken that well. As if any of us want to talk to him at all. He straight up said, if I don't nip this in the bud now, it's going to fester and create a toxic work environment. Toxic me. I'm the toxic one. The woman who personally hand-wrapped 43 holiday mugs filled with Hershey's Kisses and mini Bath & Body Works lotions last Christmas. I left that meeting so stunned I didn't even take my usual detour to CVS after work for discount. Reese's. Just went home and laid on the couch staring at my cat, while he knocked over my cup of Diet Pepsi like a furry little anarchist. And that was the moment I mentally quit doing anything I didn't have to do. No more birthday cards from the dollar spot at Target. No more ordering custom cakes from the Safeway bakery with inside jokes piped in icing. No more coordinating National Pretzel Day. Yes, we had one. Don't judge. It was fun. I stopped. Did I still show up? Yeah? Did I still do my actual job? Absolutely. My metrics are still clean. Clients still like me. I just stopped being the unpaid office mom. March birthday lunch came and went. I sat there with my Chick-fil-A sandwich in dead silence, while everyone awkwardly waited for someone to say something nice about Lisa. I said nothing. No dessert, no speech, just vibes. Now, there's this appreciation week thing coming up for the facilities crew. Usually, I'd be the one coordinating the thank you cards. Getting a Starbucks traveler box and some Costco muffins. Maybe even baking a tray of brownies with little post-it notes on them that say things like, thanks a latte. Kill me, but not this time. The email chain is going in circles. Nobody's stepping up. And I've contributed the same $10 as everyone else, but I'm not playing cruise director anymore. One woman, Michelle from marketing, stopped by and kind of gave me this look like, you're really not going to organize this. And I just said, I don't have the time right now. But I do. Oh, I definitely do. I just don't have the energy to give this place that part of me anymore. So now I'm wondering for stepping back and going full gray rock. Or am I finally just realizing I was doing way too much for people who didn't actually appreciate it? So the Facilities Appreciation Week rolls in, and shocker, nothing happens. Monday shows up, and normally by then, we'd have a whole display in the break room. I used to make these ridiculous little baskets filled with Starbucks gift cards. Slim Jims, Dunkin' coffee grounds, beef jerky. Those weird novelty socks from Target with hot dogs on them. Even handwritten notes from the team that I'd basically forged because no one actually wrote them themselves. Yeah, I'd pull off this whole fake we're a family vibe because for some reason, I believed it mattered. But this year blank, not even a card from Walgreens. I guess everyone just assumed I'd do it anyway, like I always did. Like the Christmas where the company didn't give out bonuses, so I literally made individual $5 Dunkin' gift bags so the mood wouldn't be so damn bleak. You think I got re-imbued for that? Hell no, I'm still salty. Anyway, it's Wednesday now. Dan sends out this email to the whole office that says something like, "Just a reminder that we want to show our appreciation to the facilities team this week. Please stop by the break room to drop off your notes of thanks. Except the break room is a cold, empty wasteland. One unopened box of goldfish crackers someone probably bought for themselves. One crusty kurig. That's it." Now the passive aggression kicks in full swing. A few people start replying to the email thread with, "Thanks for the reminder, Dan. Can't wait to see what's planned. And looking forward to the treats like last year." These people knew I'd always handled it. They were fishing. One guy even DM'd me on Teams with, "You usually do something, right? Should I get a card?" And I hit him with a "not this time. Sorry, no explanation." Then Friday hits. We're all in the weekly morale check-in, a meeting no one asked for that Dan started after reading some Forbes article about maintaining engagement in hybrid environments. It's the worst. It's 30 minutes of forced smiling and fake compliments. But this time, you could feel the tension. Dan opens the meeting with a weird speech about ownership and how we all share responsibility for company culture. Then he calls me out directly, not by name, but everyone knew. It's disappointing to see certain traditions fall through the cracks. Some folks who've always taken charge seem to be less invested lately. Dead silence. I don't even flinch. I'm sipping my iced coffee from McDonald's like it's a damn margarita. My camera's on, but my eyes are dead inside. After the call, Lisa, the one whose birthday lunch I didn't bake for, comes into my office and starts with the fakest, "Hey, everything okay?" And I swear to God, I almost lost it. I just told her, "Yeah, just focusing on my workload." Then comes the next twist. Monday morning, I get a calendar invite. One-on-one check-in mandatory. It's from HR. Now, I've never had a problem with HR. I helped organize their baby shower last year. Got them a personalized blanket with their kid's name embroidered on it. But I'm not stupid. A one-on-one with HR is never good. So I go. It's just me and this woman named Carly, who smells like Bath & Body Works warm vanilla sugar, and somehow always looks like she's going to a sorority reunion. She starts the convo with, "So, there have been some concerns brought to our attention about team morale and passive disengagement." I actually laughed out loud. First time I'd done that in weeks. She starts going on about how leadership has noticed a behavioral shift and how it's impacting team dynamics. I ask if my job performance is in question. She says, "No, my numbers are still good. Clients are happy, but they're concerned because I've withdrawn from team building contributions." I told her I wasn't aware that organizing gift baskets and cupcake days was required for my role. She stuttered. Said something about setting the tone and unofficial responsibilities. I asked if I was getting paid for those. Silence. Then she says something like, "People look up to you. When you pull back, it affects others." I said, "Then maybe others should step the hell up for once." Meeting ends awkwardly. I walk out, head straight to the break room, and throw away the crumpled Facilities Week flyer that had been taped to the Keurig all week, like a sad hostage note. That afternoon, I noticed Dan walking by my office twice. Didn't say anything, just peeking like he expected me to break out a tray of lemon bars as a peace offering or something. And just when I thought it was over, bam! The wildest part happens that Friday. Dan sends an email to the team announcing that due to recent organizational feedback, we'll be doing rotational morale duties moving forward. Rotational morale duties. I nearly choked on my Lunchables. Don't judge. They're nostalgic, and Costco sells them cheap. Now everyone had to take turns planning birthdays, potlucks, celebrations, appreciation weeks, all of it. A literal morale calendar was attached to the email with people's names slotted in for the rest of the year. The group chat exploded. People were pissed. Michelle had to handle 2 events back-to-back because of scheduling fairness. Brian, who can barely remember his own birthday, got stuck with April and June. Even Dan himself was listed for August, which made me cackle like a villain in a Netflix thriller. Suddenly, everyone realized how much I'd been doing all these years. Unpaid, unasked, unnoticed. But it gets worse. Way worse. So Dan's Morale Week rolls around in August like a ticking time bomb. And the entire office is holding its breath because, get this, not only is he actually on the new morale calendar, but he forgot. Yep, the man who implemented the system made HR back it up and even included it in a company-wide memo, just did not read his own damn spreadsheet. It was a Thursday afternoon when he figured it out. I was in the break room, grabbing my second Diet Coke of the day from the sketchy vending machine that eats bills and only takes crisp ones. Dan walks in with that fake, "Hey there" energy, starts scanning the room like he's expecting balloons to just materialize out of thin air, and then he goes, "So, what's the plan for next week?" I'm sipping my Coke like a silent assassin. Didn't even blink. He looks around like someone else is going to chime in. Dead quiet. Finally, Lisa goes, "Oh, I think you're up next." You could literally see the blood drain from this man's face, like someone pulled the plug on his graphics card. He gives a weird little laugh and goes, "Oh, that's right. Yeah, just testing you all." But nah, we all knew the panic was real. Fast forward to Monday. It's his week. It's his turn to be the morale machine, the bearer of overpriced Costco cookies and awkwardly written thank you cards. And boy, he flopped harder than a McDonald's ice cream machine on a hot day. Day 1, nothing, not even a group email. The break room smells like burnt popcorn and sadness. Day 2, he brings in a single box of donuts from 7-Eleven, not even Krispy Kreme. 7-freaking-11. And the worst part, half of them were already gone, because he left the box open in the front office like it was bait. By the time most people showed up, all that was left was one plain and a maple bar that had someone's thumbprint in the glaze. Disgusting. Day 3, a team lunch. We got Subway. Not the good kind either. Like he literally ordered 12-foot-longs with no labels and dumped them on the break room table like it was a prison potluck. No drinks. No napkins, no plates, no sides, just a box of slightly warm sandwiches sweating in plastic wrap. By Wednesday afternoon, morale was in the toilet. Someone made a meme about the Subway incident and dropped it in the group chat. I won't lie, it had me crying. It was that same photo of the sad birthday kid in front of a single balloon and a plain hot dog. But they'd photoshopped Dan's head on it with the caption, "Morale boosted." Day 4 was the true breaking point. Dan decided to surprise us with a team building activity, a scavenger hunt. In the office, during work hours, I swear on my life, he printed out a bunch of riddles from some generic Pinterest board and hid post-it notes under desks and chairs. One of the clues said, "Where do you go when nature calls?" And yes, we had grown ass adults rummaging through the office bathroom like we were on Nickelodeon's Double Dare. People were pissed. Nobody was getting work done. Someone knocked over a filing cabinet trying to reach behind it for a clue. HR sent out a warning about workplace safety during non-structured activities. I couldn't make this up if I tried. Friday rolls in. Final day of Morale Week. Dan announces a casual coffee chat in the break room at 9:30 a.m. He rolls in at 9:42 with no coffee. I repeat, the coffee chat had no coffee. He literally walked in, sat on the edge of the counter, and started rambling about how important it is to find joy in the workplace while sipping his own venti Starbucks. Man didn't even bring a box of K-Cups for the rest of us. And I've never seen so many people so simultaneously dead-eyed in my life. Then it happened. "Brian, bless this man," finally snapped. Brian's been with the company just as long as I have. Keeps his head down, runs the numbers, does his job. But this week must have pushed him over the edge, because in the middle of Dan's speech about building culture, Brian just blurts out, "This is the worst morale week we've ever had." The air got sucked out of the room. Dead silence. Dan goes, "Well, I tried my best." And Brian claps back with, "If this was your best, I owe OP an apology for every year we took her for granted." I nearly spit out my Diet Coke. People started nodding. Someone even clapped. I think it was Jill from payroll, who hasn't said a word in 3 years, unless it's about her cat's dietary needs. Dan looked like he'd just been told he was being audited by the IRS and his mom. He mumbled something about needing to reassess the rotation schedule and left the break room mid-chat, leaving the rest of us standing there with nothing but the memory of that single thumb-rint donut. That day, I got more compliments and thank yous than I had in the last 5 years combined. Brian even sent me a Starbucks A gift card. Not a huge one, just $10, but it was the gesture. It meant something. Even Megan from HR. Yeah, the same one who cried over the lean cuisine, told me she missed my events. But just when I thought it was finally turning around, guess who called me into their office? Yep, Dan. So Dan calls me into his office the Monday after his disastrous morale week. And by now, I'm convinced this man has lost the plot entirely. He sends one of those vague calendar invites with the subject line, quick touch base, feedback, and forward planning. It's the HR meeting all over again. Full corporate speak, zero context. Classic Dan. I show up exactly on time, not a minute early. Not late either. I'm not giving this dude the satisfaction. I walk in with my ice Dunkin' because it was $1 with the app that day. Shout out. Take a seat and wait. His office, by the way, looks like a dentist waiting room. Weird neutral tones. A sad little framed Microsoft Teams quote. You miss 100% of the calls you don't join. And a plant that's 100% plastic, but still somehow covered in dust. He starts off all smiley, like he didn't just get cooked by his entire team in front of a box of cold Subway sandwiches. Hey, appreciate you making time. I wanted to have a quick chat after last week's, well, big experiment. I say nothing. I just take a sip of my drink, let him squirm. He keeps going. There's been a lot of feedback, some good, some constructive. I think we all learned a lot, and I wanted to personally acknowledge your past contributions in the morale space. The morale space, bruh. It's not a freaking moon landing. I nod, still silent. I think, there might have been some misunderstandings over the past few months, and I just want to make sure we're aligned moving forward. Now I speak. I go, so, just to be clear, is this meeting about morale events, or is this about how I stopped doing the free emotional labor that wasn't in my job description? Dan's face twitches just for a second, like he didn't expect me to say the quiet part out loud. He leans forward. Look, I think we both know your efforts have had a big impact on this office. But when people started noticing the absence of that spark, it created a bit of a void. Oh, a void. So now I'm what? The office shaman? I go, that void's been there. I was just patching it with cupcakes in my free time. Dead silence, then the twist. Dan sigh like a full body sigh and says, if I'm being honest, upper management has noticed the dip in morale metrics since Q2, and they asked why things felt off. And here's the kicker. He admitted without saying it directly that my extra stuff had been padding the department's culture metrics. That all those little things I'd done, the parties, the emails, the stupid gift bags, they'd helped him look better to his bosses. And now that I'd stopped, his numbers were tanking. This man, this same guy who tanked my last evaluation for listening to a coworker vent, was now trying to get me to unofficially take the morale wheel again. I asked him flat out, are you offering me a raise? He blinked like I'd spoken another language. Well, there's no official budget increase right now, but maybe we could revisit your review next quarter. Revisit? Next quarter? I laughed. I actually laughed in his face. Couldn't help it. I told him, you don't get to punish me for being a bad influence and then turn around and ask me to save your department morale stats. That's not how this works. Then I stood up and walked out. And here's where things get really unhinged. By 3 p.m. that same day, the department gets a random email from Dan announcing that he's decided to implement a morale committee. Voluntary, of course, said it would allow creative minds across departments to collaborate and bring their unique talents to the table. Translation. He's hoping someone else picks up the glittery, broken pieces of his failed party week and does my job for free. The email had a Google form attached to sign up for committee interest. Want to guess how many people filled it out? Freaking person. It was Megan. Of course, it was Megan. She immediately replied all like, this sounds so fun. Can't wait to brainstorm someone with like 4 sparkle emojis. Sis didn't even organize her own wedding. She had her mom do it. Dan replied, thank you, Megan. Your enthusiasm is exactly what this team needs. Like he hadn't been publicly shamed over expired Dunkin' Munchkins just days before. And the best part, Brian sends me a message with a screenshot of the morale email and just writes, he's cooked. I laughed so hard, I choked on my Panda Express. Orange chicken everywhere. But then something happened that nobody expected. HR reached out to me again. Not for a check-in, not for a complaint, but with an offer. Yep, a real one. All right, so it's a week after the morale committee email flopped harder than a YouTuber apology video, and I'm just cruising through work at this point, head down. Tasks handled, full-blown, quiet quitting energy. I'm talking minimal eye contact, headphones in, iced to Dunkin' always in hand. My vibe is 100% I am not the one. Then, out of nowhere, I get an email from Carly in HR. Remember vanilla-scented Carly from the passive disengagement meeting asking me to drop by for a quick conversation. I'm thinking, here we go again. I half expected another scolding, or some new team energy metrics presentation I'd have to sit through without rolling my eyes too hard. But this time, totally different vibe. I walk in, she's alone. No Dan, no printouts. Just a weird little smile on her face, like she knows something I don't. She starts off super casual, like, so? We've been reviewing department trends, and we noticed a really interesting pattern. She pulls up this internal report, and get this. There's a literal morale trend graph, like some intern actually tracked employee mood over time based on surveys, participation, and other soft metrics. And there's this huge drop starting in February, right around when I quit doing all the extra crap. She scrolls down and shows me without explicitly saying it that my voluntary work had basically carried the social fabric of the whole floor for years. Without me, they were tanking. Then she hits me with it. We've been talking with leadership, and there's a role we're creating. It's unofficially being referred to as a culture coordinator. It's part of an employee experience pilot. At first, I laughed because that sounds like the most corporate nonsense title ever. But then she says, it would come with a 15% salary bump, a discretionary budget for events, and you'd report directly to HR. You wouldn't be under Dan anymore. I paused hard. Let me repeat that last part. Not under Dan anymore. I'm just sitting there like, am I being punked? Is there a camera crew hiding behind the fake plant? I asked if Dan knew about this, and Carly says, we've had conversations. He's aware this position would not fall under his supervision. Translation, he's pissed. And now it all clicks. Dan wasn't just trying to rope me back in to help out. He was trying to protect his numbers, because if I left his team, the whole illusion of his positive leadership style would crash and burn. He'd lose the one thing keeping morale from free falling into HR hell. So I asked Carly for 24 hours to think it over. She agreed. Said she hoped I'd seriously consider it, because they wanted to prioritize authentic leadership moving forward. Whatever that means. I go home and sit with it. 10 years of running the unpaid birthday party circus, being the default office therapist, burning my weekends for gift bags and Target runs, and now they're finally seeing it. Next day, I walked into Dan's office without knocking. This dude looked like he'd seen a ghost. Probably thought I was there to apologize. Instead, I just said, hey, just letting you know I've accepted the new culture coordinator role. I'll be reporting to Carly moving forward. You could hear his jaw hit the carpet. He goes, oh, I see. I smiled. Yep. So, I guess this is my last week under your management. Just wanted to give you the courtesy before the announcement goes out. He didn't say a word, just stared at his desk like it had betrayed him. The following Monday, the email went out company-wide. Please join us in congratulating my name on her new role as culture coordinator. She's been a pillar of positivity and consistency in our organization for over a decade, and we're thrilled to support her as she leads new employee experience initiatives. People lost their minds. My inbox blew up. Even folks I barely knew from legal, and it were like finally and long overdue. Megan sent me a full paragraph about how she's so excited to work together with like 17 exclamation points. Bless her heart. And Dan Man looked like a ghost at the next all-hands meeting. Someone tried to hand him a morale calendar printout, and he said he was phasing the program out. LMAO. I've been in the new role for 2 months now. I get a monthly budget. I delegate. I don't bake anymore unless I want to. I actually created a rotating subcommittee where people volunteer and get time off vouchers for helping. Imagine that. Appreciation for extra work. And the best part, my job now is literally to make the office fun, but on my terms with actual support and a paycheck that reflects it. So, ad for stepping back when I wasn't appreciated. Nah, turns out I just needed to stop being the office doormat so I could finally walk through the damn door. Thanks for watching. If you like the story, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.